Our goal after watching this video is to describe the differences between external and internal conflict. This should be a review for you, but watch through to make sure you know all the details. You have these notes available to you. I'm gonna be working off of this sheet to kind of go step by step on looking at conflict in stories. Our definition of conflict is a struggle between two or more opposing forces. And we're going to use the word forces because they may not be two people. We might be talking about technology or nature or an internal thought. So let's call them opposing forces, things that are not getting along. It's a struggle. We're going to refer to Freytag's plot diagram. Now, we're going to look at Freytag's plot pyramid in another video, but we want to know um, how the plot progresses and where the problems start, where the problem climaxes, and where the problem's resolved. And notice we are looking at these marks. I've had the first one circled here in red. The problem begins in what we call the exciting force. You might also hear it as the inciting incident or the inciting moment. This is where two people or two ideas or a person in a group first conflict, where the argument first begins. After the rising action, we're led to the climax, the peak of our problem. And this is where there's usually a high emotional intensity. It's a point of no return. Our two forces are face to face, fighting against each other, and whatever happens here should suggest to us what the resolution is. Now, after the falling action of Freytag's pyramid, we get the resolution of the problem. It's not necessarily the end of the story, but that problem is wrapped up. Now, usually we can map these out as the major conflict in a book, a movie, a story, but there are also little mini conflicts throughout. So you may have a conflict that comes up in chapter one and is fixed by chapter four, even though there's 25 chapters in the book. But we are looking for the exciting force, the climax, and the resolution. Of the two major types of conflict, one of these is external. And this is a struggle between two or more outside forces. This is person versus person, or person versus a group or society, or person versus nature, or person versus technology, or person versus ghosts, whatever the book is. And I know sometimes you may have heard man versus man. We prefer the phrase person because anybody can have a conflict with anything. And so these are outside of ourselves. It's outside because the person who's having the problem can't control the problem. So that might be even if there is a even if there's a virus, that might be more of an external conflict. It might happen inside your body, but the main character can't control the virus. If they can control it, it might be internally because they'd have some choices. But external is two outside forces where one force cannot control the other force, which then brings us to internal. So internal doesn't mean it's happening inside your body. Internal means it's happening inside your mind. And this is a struggle between two or more choices. This is kind of like the angel or the devil in the cartoons, where someone says do one thing and someone says no, do the other thing. This is a person versus self. It's important to know that sometimes an external conflict can cause an internal conflict. Um, Maybe if your parent yells at you in the morning, external conflict, you're having external conflict, you get to school and you kind of feel, you start thinking like, oh, maybe I should apologize. Like, no, I shouldn't apologize. She should apologize to me. Now you have an internal conflict, not sure what to do. But then maybe the teacher calls on you and you're thinking and you're not sure what to do. The teacher calls on you and you look up and say, what? And now you've kind of yelled at your teacher. Now your internal conflict has caused an external conflict with the teacher. Now you and the teacher might have a conflict. So these influence each other back and forth all the time. So we should be familiar with internal conflicts and external conflicts, along with the exciting force, climax, and resolution of each conflict.